Good morning, and what a beautiful day it is today. It's supposed to become quite cloudy later in the day, but as for right now, the sun is somewhat out, and the fall colors right now are just gorgeous. And today I want to begin the growing of those biennial seed plants. And today we're going to work on carrots and onions. I wanted to work on these yesterday, but I just ran out of steam. I got so tired. We got a late start yesterday, and I didn't get done till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's actually kind of late right now, but I'm going to work on that today. And the first step will be rototilling those beds. I rototilled them once to just kind of stir up the dirt, but today I'm going to do a better job, more of a deep tilling on that one bed in particular. And then if time permits, I want to get the machine going again, because I want to rototill where we took the carrots out yesterday, and then I have half of the bed that I want to put the onions in, which is where the tomatoes came out of. I want to just give that a quick going over. So lots to do. So let's get started with that tiller. Alright, that's not too bad. I like doing that, taking the rototiller and stirring up the soil nice and loose. The only problem is that you can only get so close to an obstacle. Like right down there are the leeks that we're growing for seed. And I can only get so close to that, but that's okay. I can work in there with some hand tools. And it also leaves kind of a divot right in there where you stop tilling, but we can level that off with a rake. So let me go grab some hand tools, and I'll finish preparing this bed. I made this divot here with the rototiller tines. Just try to level things off. That looks pretty good. So I think I'm going to put onions at the beginning of the row. That's what I did last year over here. I had onions at the beginning of the row. So I'll do that again. Onions at the beginning. This year we're going to be growing, this year we'll be planting Elsa Craig onions for seed, which we will be harvesting next summer. Probably around August. I think that's when we do it. And so it'll be Elsa Craig. That's our go-to onion. That's that huge, if you've been watching the channel, that was the huge harvest that we made. And we cured and we're eating. They're so delicious. Elsa Craig. And then we're going to be planting our Scarlet Nance onions just this side of the leeks. Those are the leeks, which are going to overwinter right there. And then I've got a white stick as a border. And then so I'll put the carrots in this area here. And that'll leave a gap right in the middle area. And I have to ask Danielle what she wants me to grow. If I have room, I can put either beets in there, or I can put a couple celeriacs in there for seed. So, anyway, let's get started with the onions. They're going to go right there. And it's really nothing more than digging a hole and putting the onion in. That's all there is to it. Nothing could be easier. I like to make the holes in any particular row first, whether I'm planting garlic or onion seedlings, or in this case putting bulbs in the ground for seed. I like to make the holes of a row first. In this case with the onions, we're going to go about four wide. These are approximately 30-inch rows. I think professional seed growers will probably have more spacing, but space has always been a problem in our gardens. So I always find myself tightening things up a bit. And as far as the onion bulbs themselves go, I did not select the biggest onions that we have, nor did I go for the smallest ones. These are about middle of the road. I've got 20 of them here, I believe. Now, I've given this lecture before. You want to have at least, at the very minimum, for good genetic diversity, you want to have at least 20 plants. Now, some of these plants I'm not going to have 20 of. For example, when we put the celeriac in, we're not going to put 20 celeriacs in. We don't have 20 celeriacs, but we can do that with the onions and the carrots. So you want to have the root end down. This is just like planting garlic. In fact, it's a member of the garlic family. The root end down and the stem end up, and just put it in the hole like that. I am not adding any compost to the row. These rows have a lot of compost already. I'm just going to put them in. I'm not going to get them any deeper than that. They can be so that the tops of them are right at ground level, and then the roots go down. Just like that. And that's really all there is to it. We're very fortunate to have a beautiful day. It's not terribly hot. It's not especially cool either. It's just perfect. It's just right. Isn't that funny? I picked out 4 onions and I grabbed more from the bale. That's all right. I like to take my toe, nudge them farther down, and then right where this trowel is where I'll start my second row. I like to work from a bench because I have bad knees, and I like to sit as much as I can. So I'll just pull the bench forward a bit and keep going. It's a very relaxing thing to do. I'm looking forward to planting the garlic. Not sure when that'll be. Probably in about a week we'll be planting garlic. So I like to have them in line this way, the best I can anyway, and then in line this way, like a grid work. What was I talking about? Okay, I don't choose for genetic diversity, for genetics, I should say. I don't choose the ones I'm going to put in the ground for genetics. I don't know enough about it. I wouldn't know what to choose. I guess people go for the biggest ones. But I've heard that you don't need to do that. The size of your onion harvest, or the onions that you harvest, doesn't necessarily mean genetics, because all these onions came from the same batch of seeds, and yet we had all different sizes of onions. So with that information, we don't concern ourselves too much with genetics. In other words, I'm not trying to grow, let's choose the biggest onions to try to get the biggest harvest. I don't know enough about that. If I have to spend time studying something, I'll probably study soil. And I don't even have much time for that. But, so we have 8 in the ground now. I'll nudge the pail forward, I think. I'll bring the bench forward and and do another row. That was funny. Okay, get rid of that. Alright, go in there for that. I try for about an 8-inch spacing, but I don't measure it. I'm just eyeballing it. Has to go right here. Just carefully removing the soil. And then I'll cover them over when we're done. I hear Danielle.
Hello.
Hi, Danielle.
Good morning.
We're putting in seed onion.
What kind?
House of Craig.
Oh, good.
So again, we want to put the root end in first, just like garlic. And the stem end goes out the top. And there's 4 more. We'll nudge the whole operation forward. And keep going. So we're going to cover these over when we're done. I leave them uncovered for now because I can see them, and it helps me to manage where everything is going to be. What's very exciting is in the spring of the year, say 2nd or 3rd week of April, when the snow's pretty much gone, is to see these plants begin to sprout out of the ground. If you put these in the ground too early, just like your garlic, they will sprout this year instead of next year. And I don't know what harm that does. I just don't want that to happen. So that's the onions. So it's really the same procedure with the carrots. We're going to dig our hole. Carrots are a little bit taller than onions, so we want to dig a deeper, if we can, a deeper hole. Same thing. We put the root tip down first, and the stem can be up, like that. This patch of ground is a little more difficult to dig than down there where we did the onions, because if you recall, when I was rototilling, I could only get so close to these leeks. put that shorter one in there. And there we go. I just poke a little bit of dirt in there to keep them standing straight up. Then we push the whole operation forward. I like to pull the leaves off, if you can see that, because I don't want to, if I see leaves sticking out of the ground in a few weeks, I'll start to get nervous that these things are sprouting, and I don't really want them to sprout or come out of the ground. So I like to pull the leaves off when I think of it. Alright, just 4 more to go. So there's those guys. They're in the ground now. This one could be deeper. Alright, they're all installed. Now all we have to do is cover them up. Let me move these 2 APM graveolins to the side. Okay, we'll just cover these allium seppas up, otherwise known as onions. We're all set to go now. Okay, so we have leeks at the far end by the greenhouse. They're going to overwinter just like they are. And then after that we have carrots right there. Over here we have our allium seppas. And then in the middle there's an empty spot. In that middle section we're going to put these 2 apium graveolins. We're going to put them in there, but first they have to go through a process of winter vernalization. So we'll probably get a chance to show you that in a little bit. Otherwise, that's pretty much our putting in of the biennial vegetables. They go right there, and they'll pop out of the ground in April, and then we'll probably get the seed off of them late July, early August. Alright, that's just about going to do it from down here. We've got those 2 vegetables, those 2 biennial vegetables in now, the carrots and the allium seppas. And we want to show you how to put the apium graveolins in, but they have to go through a period of winter vernalization. So if we get a chance, we'll show that one to you. Otherwise, that'll just about do it from here, and we'll catch you on the next one. Okay, bye.